Disclaimer. This video is for commentary and entertainment purposes only. Any clips or videos used in this project will be credited in the description box below. No copyright infringement intended. Please support the official release of every video. Thank you. These chapters show why Chrome is such a cool character to me. This is like his Usopp moment for me. Like how Usopp became my favorite towards like a little bit after he beat that fish man, more like Alabasta with his quote to Chopper. But also, like, I was already drawn to Crone anyway, so it just hypes me up more to see him do something so awesome. Welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Shinry. Here at the Everything Anime Podcast, talk about different from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and whatever relevant topic we talk about. Today's video is on Dr. Stone. Oh, sorry guys, Dr. Stone. I believe the chapter numbers are 70 to 72. I could be wrong. I'll double check that. But either way, this is an amazing arc. I love it. It's Chrome's arc. It's a Chrome mini arc, but it is incredible. So we're about to get into it right now. So when the chapter opens up, we see Senku is excited to build something like a car. He says it's like really simple. And it brings like an inner child out of him. And he's like very excited. He's like, oh man, we're building a car. This would be so easy. I've always wanted to do this as a kid. And at first they're moving at like a slow, casual pace. And Kohaku's like, hey, we're not doing this for fun. You know that they have Chrome captured. We have to get him back. And Senku's like, oh, don't worry. It'll be fine as long as Chrome keeps his mouth shut. Tsukasa's just keeping him as a hostage, holding him hostage. He's not going to do anything to him. And then Kohaku says again, this is Chrome we're talking about. Chrome keeping his mouth shut, that's not gonna happen. And then what happened, what the next reaction is like a slow realization across like the village's face of like them realizing like Chrome is not gonna keep his mouth shut, so they start working faster. It's played for gags and I can't wait to see it in the anime, but in the manga it was played perfectly. Like there's slow change in reaction, like yeah, Chrome's not gonna keep his mouth shut. We gotta get there now. Then we go over to Chrome in front of Tsukasa's army, in front of Tsukasa himself, Hyoga, and Yukio, my new favorite character. Him and Chrome are like my two favorites right now. Anyways, so Tsukasa asked him, like, why would you boldly claim you're a scientist in front of me? Like, you know I hate science and that's what I'm trying to destroy. Chrome then goes on a rant about these like random things about science, which gets unimpressed reactions from Tsukasa and his army. They just give him like this blank stare. Then we switch over to Chrome being hung over a cliff by Hyoga. Tsukasa is questioning him, and then you got Yukio in the corner. And Tsukasa's like, look, I don't downright hate science. I just hate how the people who had wealth and power used it against us like normal folk. So that's why I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to a world ruled by the rich and powerful. If you hand us over Senku, we'll let you live. And of course Chrome refuses. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. And so they drop Chrome. And I actually thought for a second Chrome would die, because Chrome has like this cool reaction where like he has like, it seems like he doesn't care if he dies. Like he's like, I'm not willing to betray Senku. As long as one scientist survives in this time, we win. It's either gonna be me or Senku, because Senku told Chrome the same thing. Like, if I die, Chrome, at least you'll be the scientist that's here. So Chrome has this blank reaction. But before Chrome falls to his death, surprisingly, Tsukasa saves him. He tells Yukio to like fire an arrow, and Chrome gets saved. He gets pinned to like the corner of a cliff. And I thought it was weird that Tsukasa saved him, because Tsukasa doesn't normally save weaklings, especially people of science. But I think he was more impressed by Chrome's resolve. Like, Chrome was willing to die. Chrome didn't scream. Chrome didn't panic. Chrome had a calm look on his face, like, this is it. And I would tell you my story with that, but something similar, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But I thought that was very cool how he, like, let Chrome live. I was like, He then turns to Yukio and he's like, where did you find Chrome? What was he doing when he came to this village? Because he's like, okay, if Chrome's not going to talk, all right, fine, we'll hold him hostage. Think who's going to come for him anyway. But Yukio, you found him. You brought him here. What was he after? And Chrome immediately panics in his mind. He's like, if Yukio tells them where I was at, that I was messing around with Senku's grave, they're going to find the cell phone like that. And instead, Yukio, for some reason, lies. Because Yukio knows where he found Chrome. Or he, like, has enough of an idea what Chrome was up to. And instead, Yukio's like, oh, I found him going after the nitrocyclic acid. And I was like, even I thought, because Chrome even questions, like, why would he lie for me? I was going to make, is Yukio part of a third faction? Like, Senku's the kingdom of science, Tsukasa's the kingdom of, like, stone, and Yukio's going to be, like, the kingdom of something. Like, I didn't know if there'd be, like, a third faction, but we'll get to that when we get there. Back with Senku and the others, the first step into making a car is starting with a steam engine train, or, like, you know, like, the engine for a train. And we then go over to, like, the following chapter with Magma trying to test his strength against it, believing, like, he can stop a steam engine train, which any human being knows, if you just stand in front of a train and you're not Superman, that thing's going to roll you over. And that's exactly what it does. It just rolls over him. I thought that was hilarious. And then we go over to Gen, who is forced to be the test dummy for Senku, as Senku says he's the only one with a license in this time, or, like, from their time. And Gen's like, does it matter if anybody has, like, you know, a license in this time? Because, like, we're just trampling over woods and trees, so, like, there's no point. And also he says something about, like, the tires on this thing are going to last over the woods, like, because, you know, you can't drive a car over, like, grass too much anyway. There's no, like, well, I forgot what they used, but he's like, we need stronger tires. And of course, Senku was already way ahead again. He makes these, like, makeshift space tires, which are, like, huge tires. Something that you see on a tank, basically. But with that, we now have our car. And I have to say, this car did not look like how I thought it would. I thought it'd be like a Flintstone kind of thing. But knowing Senku, it obviously wouldn't be that prehistoric. But it didn't look like, just like our cell phone didn't look how I thought it would look, our car doesn't look how I thought it would look. But it's very cool, though. I have to admit that. You know, obviously, I love that after making the car, Kaseki and Senku don't feel bad that Chrome's been captured. They feel bad that he's gonna hate that he didn't help create the car, because they're like, you know, Kaseki is the builder, Chrome is a scientist, and Senku is a scientist. But they're like, oh, we feel so bad. Chrome's gonna hate that he didn't help us build this. And then we flash over to Chrome, who sneezes, and he's like, why do I feel like I'm being made fun of? Like, Chrome senses that in the universe, and I thought that was pretty great. Like, the humor in Dr. Stone is way different than any other manga I've read so far, but I do love it a lot. Now, eventually the team makes it outside of Tsukasa's base, but Kohaku realizes they can't make a move on Tsukasa's arm move without first knowing where Chrome is. Like, she's like, we made it outside of his base, but, like, even with this car, if we just go in there without knowing where Chrome is, like, they can either kill him or they can move him. We have to know where he is so we can save him immediately. Sukiya then immediately is like, okay, this is my turn. She rolls with her little helmet head, tomato head, whatever it looks like, to Tsukasa's base. And, you know, because she can, like, blend in, she eventually spots Chrome. And I thought it was pretty good cool how she did that. And she at first struggles to find Chrome, but Chrome sees her, because, like, you know, she's not blind anymore because she has her glasses, but, like, she's looking for him through all of, like, Tsukasa's army base. And Chrome realizes she can't see him, so he, like, draws attention to himself by just, like, shouting. He's like, man, I could really go to the bathroom or something like that. And then Sukiya sees him. So now Sukiya knows where he is, and she can relay that information back to Senku. Now, Senku has a crazy idea to save him. After finding out where Chrome is trapped at, he plans to turn their car into a tank. Now, this is why I had to keep reading. I was like, how are you going to turn the car into a tank? Or, like, what's going to happen? Like, if you have a tank and you go... Well, first of all, they're in this new Stone Age. How are you going to make a tank? And if you do have a tank, what could Tsukasa's army do against that? So I was very curious about how he was going to do this. But it's not like a metal tank. It's a tank made of paper. And even Gen's reaction matches mine. So to explain why I thought this was kind of crazy, it gave me We Happy Few. I don't know if you guys ever played that game. It's a game that came out in, like, 2016, 2014, something like that. It was like a spinoff of BioShock, where, like, and I want to review that game at some point, so I'm not gonna get too much detail, but basically, in the story of the game, the Germans came to this town and they came with tanks, and they scared the people into not fighting back because they had all these tanks and these military weapons, and they were like, hey, well, no, they had the tanks, but the town had more people. But even more people, again, you can't do nothing with tanks. So they were like, "Hey, give us your kids. We're gonna take them and turn them into Germans, and you guys will let you live as long as you back off." And the people did because they were scared of being killed by the tanks, so they gave up their children. Turns out, halfway point through the game, or halfway point through the first third of the game, halfway, you find out the tanks were made of paper mache.
They're all quite mad, you know. Sometimes I think they want the Germans to come back.
Did you know the power switch was alarmed?
It's a shame of it, you see. They want another go.
You bloody knew!
How would I have known that? For fuck's sake, Artie, times are hard, but you and I go back a ways.
The tanks were hollow, Ollie.
What's that?
It's tank armor. The tanks, they're made of papier-mâché. We could have fought them if they didn't really have tanks.
No.
We wouldn't have given them Percy and the others.
Risen up.
I wouldn't have had to lie my way off that train. Oh my God. I lied my way off that train. I wasn't too old to go.
You don't forget a thing like that.
Didn't you hear me? I convinced the Germans they had my birthday wrong. If it was only me, I'd just take my happy pills and sleep through the end of the world. But I promised. I promised Percy I'd keep him safe while we were in Germany. You promised to help me get to...
The tanks were paper. They scared the people into thinking they were real tanks. So then I was like, okay, is that what we're going to do? Are we going to scare Tsukasa's army into giving up Chrome because we have this paper tank? Not quite. So we then go through a quick explanation of how to make paper, and I love it because it tells the reader how to make it at home, and it's pretty simple. You just I think it was well, I'll show the explanation, but I'm not gonna go into it. But yeah, to make paper at home, it's pretty easy. I thought that was pretty cool. It was grass, bleach, or water, or boiled water, something like that. But and then you let it dry. It was really cool, very simple. He then adds a Japanese paper door to the back of it to make a paper shield. Now, at first, I was still thinking this would be a sham tank, when we Happy Few. That's what I just went into the explanation about. But then Kinro's hey, Dr. Stone, we're not going in there with these paper tanks. If you want us to because say they don't believe it and they attack us, we're fucked. They outnumber us. And Senku's like, okay, well, try destroying it yourself. And he's like, your spear against my paper shield. And Kinro's like, okay, whatever. And he hits him as hard as he can with this spear. And to even my surprise, Kinro's spear shattered. Now, I was very confused. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because we know Kinro was the best fighter in the village next to Magma, next to Kohaku. And that was it. They're the three main fighters. And Genro was a fighter too, but or Genko. But it's really Kinro that had that, because he's the one that took on Hyuga. But it turns out it wasn't just paper. He added an unhardened plastic to the front of the shield. So of course it's never that simple. Dr. Stone had a backup plan. He combined carbon fiber reinforced polymers to the front of it. I don't know exactly what that is, but that's what he said. And again, this is a science different kind of manga for me. But yeah, he added some kind of hardened plastic to it, and it shattered that shield. Now, if you don't know what that is, like me, it's what's basically used on cars. So yeah, that made sense. A spear versus a car, the car is probably gonna win. But I thought it was really cool. Now with this, Kohaku and others believe they can definitely rescue Chrome. They're like, with these hardened tanks, they're gonna believe they're real tanks. They're gonna believe they're like, hey, let's run, let's get out of here. Tsukasa, we gotta flee, and that way we can once again stick with Senku and the Kingdom of Science not having to actually kill anybody, because Chrome, Senku, Gen, and Taiju all want to win this war without any bloodshed. Tsukasa doesn't feel that way, but that's what the Kingdom of Science feels like. Everybody in the Kingdom of Science is like, we want to do this without any bloodshed. So I love that. Then we get a flashback to Chrome where we realize Tsukasa's armies aren't fools. They set up traps around Chrome's cage just in case Senku and his allies come to save them. Now, they don't know that Senku has a tank, but they have like these pitfalls. So even if Senku came with these tanks, the tank would fall into that pitfall. And Chrome realizes this. He's like, if Senku comes here, they don't know about these traps and where they're scattered. Tsukasa's army knows where they are, but they don't. Now, we learned that Tsukasa expected Senku to create some kind of steam-powered vehicle at some point in time. He didn't know when, but Tsukasa already had the hindsight to know, like, Senku is the smartest man in this world. Even in our time, he was the smartest man in the world. He is going to build a steam engine vehicle at some point. I don't know where the fuck Tsukasa knew he would do that, but I mean, it makes sense, but it's so crazy that he knew that. And he knew that he would definitely use that to save Chrome. He's like, there's no other way that Senku would come here without something that powerful. So that's why he set up those traps. And that's insane. That's an insane level of rivalry right there. Now, back with Senku and the others, the tank is finished. And we go back to Chrome. It's kind of like a back and forth really fast. He knows that Senku isn't aware of the traps, like I said, and he plans to save himself despite they came to save him. Chrome's like, I'm going to get myself out of here. If I let Senku and the others come here, they are going to put themselves in danger, and I can't let that happen. I have to save myself. Play some Super Prince, what was that game? Super Smash Sisters scene in here. I'm going to see if I can clip that in if I can find it. That I'm not gonna play the whole video. You gotta watch that yourself. But there was that one scene that I loved so much. I'm gonna play that. Now, Chrome secretly plans to cause a prison break to save himself, and this is why I love Chrome. Chrome is the Usopp for me. Chrome is a scientist in his own time. He got his own way of doing things, and he's a counterpart to Senku without exactly being like Senku. He's just so cool to me. However, despite all the plans he's got going through his head, everything he thinks of doesn't seem like it's gonna work out. He's like one is digging his way out to the ground with a spoon or the walls, but he's like, they're way too hard. Then he thought about chipping away at the strings on a bamboo door, but there's a guard in front of him, so he's like, I can't cut my way out of the bamboo and I can't dig my way out. Like, both of them would take too long, and both of them would easily get me caught and seen about what I'm doing. So we then meet a new Tsukasa's army man named Yo. Now, he was a corrupt police officer who seems like he thought he was above the law, and you get a lot of flashes of him like as a police officer. It's not like outright shown like a full backstory, but the little glimpses that you get of Yo as a police officer, you can tell he was very corrupt. He like abused his power. He beat people down even after they gave up. Yeah, this guy totally would love to live in Tsukasa's army, would totally love to live in the stone world, Kingdom of Stone, where like there are no laws. It's the law is the strong rule over the weak. He's perfect for that. But his design is pretty cool, I have to say that. Especially with this like one stone piece covering his eye. I don't know what the deal is. I don't think he lost his eye, but you know, I just thought that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool design. I can't wait to see it in the anime. We're then going to enter monologue of Chrome, thinking about how he and Senku are different. Once again, like I had already said, where Senku thinks up plans rather quickly and then does them. Chrome is the one that takes action and then forms a plan later. That's kind of like me, where I make this joke, but it's kind of true. Where I don't block in battle, I just attack, and if the attack is stronger, I'll win. Obviously, you should defend yourself and dodge. I mean, I don't mind dodging. Dodging's not blocking. But, like, when you're blocking, all your opponent has to do is grab you, or they'll use a powerful strike to break through your defense. So I'm always like, attack, attack, attack. And that's why, like, when Zord and Shield came out, I was like, I'm getting Zord. I'm automatically Zord. Even if Zord had the worst Pokemon cover, I would have went with it, because I'm like, I'd rather attack over defend. Because if you waste time defending, you're just going to get grabbed, or they're going to break through your defense. It's better take your opponent down by just attacking, attacking. Very bad, very dumb. But I have won a lot of battles without defending. And then the one time, okay, real quick side rant. So I played Kingdom Hearts out of order. Not true. I played Kingdom Hearts 1, although I missed the middle part of it because my brother was playing it without me, and then I beat the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1 for him. I played the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, missed the entire middle of Kingdom Hearts 2, and then played the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 for my brother, and I beat that for him. So I knew the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, and I beat the ending of Kingdom Hearts. I beat the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, I beat the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 for him. And I beat like a random level with King Mickey showing up in the fight between Axel and Sora. This is going to make sense in a second, but I beat that for him, and I was like, oh my god, Tristan, come in here. King Mickey just showed up, and I was like, bouncing around like Yoda, you know, like King Mickey does when he's in that fight. Anyway, I played Kingdom Hearts 3 all the way through, and yes, I know that there's 16 games in between. I did play them all. I'm officially caught up in the Kingdom Hearts lore. We're going to do a video on Kingdom Hearts at some point. I don't know when, but we're going to do it. Anyways, in Kingdom Hearts 3, you know how you fight Xehanort like a million times. Like the very last fight, like Sora, one-on-one, no Donald, no Goofy. You and Xehanort going back and back. And the entire time I kept attacking Xehanort, and I kept losing. But I would just come back and I was literally talking to myself. I was like, as you can see, I'm not dead. Like the thing from Black Panther.
What's up? I never yielded! And as you can see, I am not dead!
I walked in the room every time I lost. Like, as you can see, Xehanort, I'm not dead. Anyways, at one point in the battle, because I got so tired of dying, I finally dodged, or I finally blocked, one of the two, and it gave me that fucking meme from Dragon Ball Super when Piccolo's like, he finally dodged. Like,
So, Mr. Piccolo, what are you going to teach me today? A brand new technique? How to sense energy? What about how to fly?
Dodge!
Oh, man. This training with Mr. Piccolo is really difficult. Ugh. But I think I'm finally getting the hang of it.
Dodge! Dodge!
I said that to myself. I'd be so stupid sometimes. Especially if I was a Twitch streamer, it'd probably be hilarious watching me game. Anyways, that's why I thought Chrome was definitely like me, because like Chrome has his own way of doing things. Anyways, Chrome immediately then tricks one of the guards and thinking he has to take a piss, and he's like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." And they're like, "All right, fine. We're not gonna let you piss inside the cave. I don't want that smelling up and stinking." And as Chrome's outside, pretend to take a piss, he's like, "Hey, you trying to watch me or something? Are you into that?" And they turn away. They're like, "Whatever." And Chrome immediately uses that to gather materials on the ground around him. And hilariously, though, when he gets back to his room, his spoils of war bear no fruits until he comes up with like a random idea to start a fire, because all he has is like grass, random rocks, and things like that, and some berries. But it'll make sense later. But like his spoils of war was like basically nothing but grass and pebbles and rocks, and he wasn't sure what to do. Now he tries to start a fire with like twigs, but he realizes that like it's not enough to make a fire, and he instead wishes he had a battery, because he tries to do like old school like Stone Age, like rubbing two sticks together. He's like, this is pointless. I need a battery. That's what's gonna start a fire without fail, because that's what started the fire back when Yukio caught him and he let Gen and Magman get away. And without one though, he falls asleep disappointed. He's like, I don't have a battery, so there's no way to get out of here. So he falls asleep. At some point in the middle of the night, he wakes up to find a battery placed beside him, but he isn't aware what it came from. He assumes it could have been Taiju or Yuzu, but he's never seen them, and he has like this hilarious idea what they look like in his mind because he's never seen them before. That's like a note from the author, but I automatically knew it might have been Yukio. Like I was like, Yukio, I think is still that triple agent because I already had that in the back of my mind. It's like Yukio planted that battery. There's no other way that battery would have got in there. And immediately though, after getting this battery, Chrome has to hide it because he's caught by Yo. And I knew it wouldn't be that easy because the explosion would be loud and the fire would catch attention. So I was like, it's not going to be the battery that helps him get out of this. So then he has to come up with another method to escape. Chrome then figures out, after being mocked about how Senku said that salt... Oh, yeah, it did. All right, so when Yo comes into his, like, prison, and he's like, oh, did you try to start a fire with just 2 twigs? He didn't notice the battery yet, and he starts making fun of Yukio. He's like, oh my god, you're an idiot, you're like a stupid caveman. And Chrome goes along with it, like the play, like he's dumb. He's like, hey, yeah, I don't know, I thought 2 sticks make fire, clap 2 rocks. Like he plays dumb, like a stupid crime. And I'm not forgetting to mention, Yo pretends to like be awed by him at first, but he's literally making fun of him like a few seconds later. He was just mocking him. But through the mocking, they mentioned something about salt. And then Chrome remembers that, like how Senku said that salt could create sodium hydroxide. However, it would require him to have seawater, and that would, like, you know, I forgot exactly what it would do, but like I know what he was trying to do, but I'll explain that in a second. But since he can't get salt from natural seawater, he has to get it like the other kind of natural way. He then figured out his own sweat could create salt. So he's just doing push-ups, sit-ups. It's like a quick little 1-panel training montage where Chrome sweats it out. And I was reading this inside of Target, and it felt kind of weird because like Chrome was like half naked, or not half naked, but like it's the way it's drawn, it looked like overly sexual. But anyways, he uses his sweat to create salt, and instead of creating salt water, he created bleach. And I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know. I'm thinking when it's explanation how bleach was created, but I just go with it. It's probably explained in the manga or in the anime, but I just had to go with it. Now, though a slower method than he planned, it still works to tear away the bamboo bars. Like the moment he pours bleach on the bamboo wires, they slowly unravel because that's what it's gonna do. The salt would have unraveled the bamboo wires anyway, and basically Chrome breaks out, and it's a very cool panel. Now you're probably wondering about the guards that were watching him. Well, he distracts them by yelling that there's a bear in his cage. It's an obvious lie, like even I thought that, but because the brain has to take a second to process what they heard, it allows Chrome to knock some of the guards back into the traps, and he vaults his way out. It was pretty fucking epic. Like, obviously there's not a bear in his cage. There's no way to get a bear could have got in there, but like the brain has to process what you just said, that lie you just said, and they're like, what the fuck did you say? And that's that 1 second. All you need was that, like, what the fuck to knock them out. Now, Chrome, thanks to being in the prison and having a full view of the prison, is aware of where the traps are, so he easily dodges them and knowing where to go, and he breaks out with no problem. I thought that was pretty cool. More hilariously, though, is Yo's reaction to Chrome's prison break because he thought Chrome was a primitive idiot. So he's like, what? Tsukasa can't know about this. Oh, I'm forgetting to mention, Yo's motivation is that he wants to be number 4 in Tsukasa's army because Tsukasa's the leader. Hyoga's his right-hand man. Yukio is the sound hearing guy / bowsman and can hit far away. And Yo's like, I want to be one of the top 4 too. But if Chrome escapes, your one easy target, your primitive target escapes, you're useless to Tsukasa. So he's like, I've got to get that guy back. And he immediately chases Chrome because he ain't letting Chrome get away. And Chrome is impressed by this guy's like stamina. But the guy was a former police officer, so I didn't expect any less from that. And he chases down Chrome to a waterfall. And it's where Tsukasa basically threatened to drop Chrome from before. And then we get a glimpse of Yo, even more as a corrupt police officer. Like, this is what I mean, like, you get more flashbacks of him as a police officer. Now, Chrome knows he can't beat him in a hand-to-hand combat. However, he comes up with another plan. So, with some fake blood, Chrome spews it from his mouth at first. He's like, I've got pneumonia. And, oh, no, Yo's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And Chrome's like, I got pneumonia. You didn't know that whenever you captured me, guys. Or when you guys captured me, like, we're sick in our village and we don't have medicine in this time. And Yo's like, oh, stay away from me. But Chrome spews the fake blood onto Yo's face, and Yo starts to panic, and Chrome's like, pneumonia is lethal in this day and age about science. And then Yo's temporarily blinded, and this has to be so cool in anime because, like I said, like I like the reaction from this. And he says he's gonna use a move that he's Chrome, while Yo's blindsided, is like, I'm gonna use a move that I've been perfecting my entire life. Can you guess what the move is? It's kicking him in the nuts. You know, that was great. Now Chrome then just walks away, and post his escape, he successfully makes it back to Senku and the others unharmed. And they're like, how did you escape? But Senku immediately realizes what happened. He's like, I know what you did, that little trick. And even back with Yo, we see it too. They realize, like, this is like cranberry juice or something like that. Like, it's like tomato juice. It was like basically, it was like whatever red bright tomato, something like that. It was like some like fake. It was fake blood, obviously, but it wasn't even blood. It was like some kind of fruit or something. And I thought that was hilarious. So Chrome, again, using his own brilliance, took down another powerful person. Like, he took down Magma in the Bout arc, and he took and now he's taking down one of Tsukatsu's powerful army men. So again, very great chapter. I am going to post another chapter review next. It's going to be a single chapter because what happens next was completely amazing. But I gotta say, for this chapter, amazing, incredible. I loved it. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and end here now, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red will Reign Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So, if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.